Hello YouTube, it's me Vdeogamer, and this is the how to draw video game characters tutorial, and today I will be drawing Mario and Bowser Jr. from Super Mario Sunshine. The supplies you're going to need for this tutorial is a sketchbook or copy paper, pencil with an eraser, mechanical pencils if you want to do detail, permanent markers for the outlines, and colored pencils if you wish to color your drawing. So, without further ado, let the drawing begin. This was actually a request by a contest winner of the contest that I had going on for set 6. I have those regularly. Not regularly. Well, it's a new thing. Back to the drawing. To start off the drawing, what I decided to do was just first do a basic sketch line, and just for both of the characters, and then I moved down to Mario, in which I proceeded to draw in his eyes first. Starting off on Mario, draw the eyes first, just as circles, and add in 2 more circles inside of that. Draw in his mustache below that, his nose, his eyebrows, his chin, and then just the overall outline of his face. Just work around. Add in his hair right beside his ear. Draw down like that. Then draw his hat coming around just in a sort of it's sort of larger near the front than it is the back. It's not really called a hat then. Well, it is a hat. It's a type of hat. Anyway, moving down onto the arms, drawing the arms, and I decided to make it look like he's running, so one arm's sort of behind his back and one arm's in front. Well, no. Both arms are in front. And one's like, stop, in the name of the law. It's like, no. So, yeah. In Super Mario Sunshine, Mario wasn't wearing a long sleeve shirt like he usually does for most of the games. He was wearing a t-shirt, which is appropriate because Isle Delfino is extremely hot. And go ahead and draw in his pants and his boot. Whenever you're starting out, just make sure you're doing light sketch lines, so that way if you mess up, you can erase it easily and move it however it needs to be moved. Clean up a few of these sketch lines here. Then once you think you're pretty much satisfied with how the outline looks of your drawing, what you need to do is you need to go around and outline the entirety of your drawing with your pencil. Around Mario's waist, he's got a belt holding on Flood to his back. Flood's just this little robot thing that assists you through the game of Super Mario Sunshine, and it also you can use it to spray water onto sludge and stuff to clean up the island. It's not all that easy to explain, so if you want to learn more, you actually have to play the game. Sorry. And Flood is also something that's not easy to explain how to draw, so it'd be a good idea if you went to Google Images and looked up a picture of Flood, spelled F-L-U-D-D. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I think it's spelled. I decided to put little marks like he was surprised. Add in the rim of the gun, and then what you need to do is outline your entire Mario drawing with Sharpie, and this will give us a nice finalized line. Makes the drawing look a whole lot better, and just be careful whenever you're doing it because you can't erase Sharpie. For the coloring of this drawing, Mario's going to have the same basic colors, skin color, pant color, shirt color. The only difference was that he has Flood on his back and t-shirt. So other than that, it's good all Mario. Red hat, red shirt, blue jeans, and sort of palish skin. And on his back, he's got Flood, which has a variety of colors. I guess I'll walk through those a bit. Color in his skin on his arms and his face. Color in his mouth, just with a little bit of red. And I decided for his mustache, his eyebrows, and his inner eyes to be completely black. On Flood, I decided to also include the appearance of water inside the tank. So just add in a little bit of blue for that. And Flood has a lot of yellow and dark blue and purple and stuff on it, and it's hard to explain where that's at. But if you'll just look and see where each part is at, it's pretty easy to understand. Add in the handle for the Flood device, which is brown with gray metal connecting it to the body. Notice how I started out with light colors at first for Mario's body. Now I can do some shading. What shading does, it just really makes your drawing seem to pop off the page, if you know what I mean. You should know what I mean, hopefully, because you've seen that before, hopefully. Anyway, what you need to do is take a darker color other than your base coat color and shade or color off to the opposite direction of wherever your light source is. In this drawing, my in-drawing light source is up to the top left. So that means all the shadows of Mario's clothing, his skin, everything on him, just color darker to the bottom right. And this gives the sense of light in a drawing, and it also just makes it seem a little bit more three-dimensional. It's always a nice effect to add to drawing. You can use it in just basically any drawing as well. Very versatile effect. Flood has a little bit of shading on it as well, just by coloring to the sides, like such. Now we're going to draw Bowser Jr. I already have the sketch line started off for him. And from there, what you need to do is you need to sort of work on the outline of the head a bit. He's got beady little eyes and sort of bushy eyebrows. Not as big as his dad's, of course, but you get the picture. And he has hair kind of like his dad's, except his is in a ponytail of some sort with one of those black bands. And just sort of pull out the spikes of his hair behind his head. Outline his shell a bit, and then add the edge of it. And Bowser Jr., as far as I can tell, only has about 3 spikes on his back shell. I might be wrong, but it helps a lot if you have a source picture to look at. So it's got 2 on the top, and then 1 on the lower portion of the shell, if I'm not mistaken. And then, just sort of like Bowser Jr. also has some bands on his arms, only difference being that he only has 1 on his arms, per arm, I guess, and they don't have spikes on them like his dad's. And whenever I say his dad's, I'm referring to Bowser, of course, in case you didn't know that. And color in the bands just a solid black. I don't plan to do much shading for those. Work on his hand a bit. And you might be asking me, Vdeogamer, why is there a paintbrush in Bowser Jr.'s hand? That is also something that is extremely difficult to explain at this point in time, because you haven't played Super Mario Sunshine. Or if you have, please explain it to somebody in the comments below. Outline the entirety of his body, and then we can start work, or the more fine, detailed work on his paintbrush. Oh, wait. First, we're going to outline the body, I guess. Use your Sharpie and just outline the entirety of the body. Same thing with Mario. Be careful whenever you're doing this, but it does make the drawing look a whole lot nicer. And the paintbrush has spikes on the sides where the tip is, I guess. And it has this sort of design for EGAD science. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but It helps a lot if you played the game. I just colored in the bands a solid black with my Sharpie. This just makes it darker, and I don't have to worry about accidentally erasing it whenever I get rid of my lines. And Bowser Jr.'s skin is yellow, the way I colored it. It might not be the same color yellow, but I'm just starting out with a light shade of color so I can go into shading later. And what's always confused me a little bit is that Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s faces aren't the same color as the rest of their skin. Their head is like a greenish color, which sort of just hurt my brain a little bit. Off topic a bit. And like I said, the head is green, and just it seems a little bit weird to me. I don't know why, but it works just cuz. And the shell is green as well. It's gonna be a sort of blue or green by the time we're done, though. And add a little bit of the gray to the white areas, and this just sort of helps it to look a little bit more colored in and just looks a whole lot better. I added a little bit of peach to the spikes on the back just because they seem a little bit peach in the color or the picture I have. And Bowser Jr.'s mouth is peach colored, and his hair is orange reddish. And I guess most of you might be used to the whole white bandana thing for Bowser Jr., but in Super Mario Sunshine, it was a white bandana with a face on it, so. Or not white, but it was blue. It was dark blue with a face on it. Don't know why, but they changed it, but they did. So, deal with it. Use a darker color for the yellow, and we're going to basically do the same type of shading we did for the Mario drawing. The way you're going to do this is you're just going to shade bottom right, sorta. It also helps if you understand how objects actually have shading, because the majority of Bowser Jr.'s body is facing the light, or his front body. He's mostly going to be covered in shadows from the back. And then once you've shaded a bit on the yellow, what you can do is take your base coat color and go back over the color again to make it seem a little bit more orangey and dark yellowish. Just sort of helps the color out a bit. Add some shading to the face. As well as a bunch of shading to the shell. There's not hardly any light on the shell. So that's just mostly going to be darker than anything else. But there's still going to be a good amount of light around. And then the edges of the spikes on the shell are outlined in orange. I don't know why, but they just are. Coloring the hair a bit better. And whenever you're coloring the hair, you don't have to make it look too even. Just sort of stroke it a bit. Like, just make it a ray of strokes. And this sort of makes it look like individual hairs and stuff. The eyebrows are the same color as the hair. Whatever color you choose that to be. Should be orangish, reddish. Color in the mouth with a skin tone, which is another confusing thing about the character, I guess. I decided to add a little bit of yellow because I wasn't happy with the color I had. On the shell, add a little bit more gray to the spikes on the back. And add a lot more darker blue to the bandana on his front. You can't see what it looks like really, but I mean, it still has to be there because it's tied around his neck. And on the paintbrush, it sort of looks like Flood because it's made by the same guy who made Flood. So, I mean, that just sort of goes against everything, I know. But it is. So, color in the paintbrush, sort of with the same colors as Flood. It helps a lot if you get a picture of Bowser Jr. from Super Mario Sunshine. And I decided to have the paintbrush with a little bit of orange, reddish paint on it. It's not really paint because it pollutes water and stuff. I don't know. Now we're going to do a quick background. I'm not going to really explain it much because I want you to have a little bit of creativity with your own background. But just for the sake of making this drawing look awesome, I decided to add in a background with Bowser Jr. and Mario on an island sort of chasing after each other, and put a warp type pipe in the background and added the shine gate in the distance. And you won't get any of what I'm saying if you've never played Super Mario Sunshine whatsoever. But in the background, I decided to put Isle Delfino. That's what you're seeing way back there. Put in some clouds in the sky. And then all around Bowser Jr., I decided to have it look like he's coming out of Dark Mario form. And just paint's going everywhere, just like flying into the air. And I decided to outline that as well, just so it would match up with everything. Add in a little bit of the paint on the ground, just in sort of splashes and globs of paint. And I also decided to outline the background just to make everything match. I don't typically outline the background, but I just felt like outlining it this time. Whatever works for you. Once again, just be creative with your drawing. Draw them in different poses even. Just maybe, even if you get the chance, draw a drawing of this in your own style with your own background and send me a picture of it as a video response. Just might feature one. Don't know. Have fun with your drawings. Just, oh my gosh, I'm going to say it again. Be creative. Sorry. The island back there has a little bit of green to it. And those little squares back there are supposed to be houses, sort of. Right behind that is the big volcano, which I forgot the name to, if it had a name whatsoever. Outline the clouds a bit. Now we're going to color the background. Well, we already started coloring. Okay, this process is just so uneven. I don't know why I'm explaining it. The sand, I did something cool to this. I colored horizontally, and you would think sand would be sort of a brownish color. Well, I just decided to leave it as a light peach color for this time. For the paint, I decided to make it look like sort of three-dimensional as well by edging it with a little bit of dark brown and then coloring the inside of it with different colors like red, orange, yellow, and this just sort of makes it blend together and just makes it a more messy color, I guess. It's supposed to be messy because it's bad. Paint is bad, apparently, in Super Mario Sunshine. Finish up all the little details everywhere, including the shading on the pipe. I always thought it was fun to shade pipes from Super Mario. They just have such a unique texture and color. And then I also added a little bit of a shadow beneath my characters, including the pipe and Mario and Bowser Jr. And the sky is blue. It is colored so. And that's my finished drawing of Mario and Bowser Jr. Hope you guys liked this drawing. I think it was really fun, and I want to thank the winner of my contest for entering and doing so good with his drawing that I decided to give you a good drawing as well. So, basically, I do these drawings a lot. I plan to be doing these drawings for a long time from now, I guess, so you should subscribe if you like my drawings. And you should also know that I take requests in the first place. That was a contest, but for a request, you can just go to my channel and send me a message. And just include your character name, a picture of your character with like a Google image link or something. And it just might show up in a tutorial of its own sometime. And if you want to check out more of my videos and drawings, check them out at YouTube or DeviantArt. And until next time, keep on drawing.